If we look at societies and governments that failed, there's a pattern. Societies have faced failures after implementing solutions that did not effectively address the problems. Environment sustainability, government corruptions, the unresolved issues led to significant economic and social challenges leading to societal collapse. If you're familiar with Mao Zedong, that's very similar to his actions of killing all the sparrows to try to make the crops be more productive, which didn't work and actually did the opposite. Yeah, if you've ever heard of people call pit bulls nanny dogs, even though they kill toddlers and target toddlers primarily, same type of thing. Um, so it's very similar to socialism and communism too, because they tried it and didn't work. But also, a lot of people that are pro-socialist, they will keep saying stuff like, "Well, that wasn't true socialism. They didn't actually do this. They didn't actually do that." And we see that with dog culture too. Every time there's a failure, more and more and more failures, what did the people on the news and the dog owners say, and all the pro-dog studies come out with? They come out with this thing about some external source that is causing the problem. So this also sounds a lot like the logical fallacy. It's called the sunk cost fallacy, where individuals continue a behavior or project despite worsening results because of the time or resources invested. Also, kind of like confirmation bias. They seek information that supports their decisions, ignoring evidence that they should change. So, this is dog culture too. People know that dog culture is screwed up. They see these problems, but they're not going to listen to it. They're going to go read studies from a pro dog source, and they're not going to go read a study from NIH that shows all of the nasty face surgeries and UPS people being killed by dogs, or the cost of dogs, or how families are broken apart by the presence of dogs, and on and on. So here's some examples of these failed things that we keep trying to do. UPS workers, attacks keep going up. They keep going up. Reported attacks, 6,000 according to this study. Yet these also go unreported all the time. These get worse and worse and worse. And you know what's crazy about this? A lot of these FedEx and USPS workers, they're having other problems in their jobs too. Air conditioning not working, being overworked, low staff, and now you're going to throw this dog problem on them. You know, that's freaking ridiculous. And a lot of these UPS workers are they're in groups that are already at a risk for suicide and other stuff. And these people are delivering freaking dog food and chew toys to you jackass dog owners too. The same thing with children. Dog attacks on children are increasing. Despite this campaign of people talking about, we're going to make kids respect the dog space. Every year we have more and more dog trainers, more and more dog chew toys, more and more specialized dog controlling leashes and electronic devices. But yet these children aged 5 to 9 constantly are getting attacked. And look, it occurs in familiar settings. Now, look at this bullshit, though. They're going to throw in this thing. Oh, it's dogs that aren't properly socialized or trained. If you have to train the child killer out of a dog, then, like, how stupid are you? We got to go back to that cognitive bias thing. It's like it says, despite the evidence of your child being at risk, you're going to say this. They're going to say this little blue highlight at the end of the summary. It's because most of the sources that we look up come from pro dog sources, so you always have to throw that in, even though they're going to admit that kids are getting attacked more and more. So, for example, 27,000 people in the U.S., according to the last reports, require reconstructive surgery due to injury from dog bites. And these numbers are getting worse every year. More people in the emergency room. And the crazy thing about this is the police officers and the nurses and the staff at the hospital, they don't have YouTube channels telling you about all the sick, nasty stuff that they see with dogs. probably because of open cases or probably because of the lawsuits that are involved with these. So there's going to be a non-disclosure agreement or something like that, or they're just told it's their job to not talk bad about dogs. And so it's like what we said earlier, the confirmation bias, where one seeks information that supports their decisions, ignoring the evidence. So not only are we actively having confirmation bias with dog ownership, we're being forced to have confirmation bias because all the people that are experiencing those emergency room visits and having to stitch those kids back up, they're not out there talking about it. The police officers that have to come to the houses where the child is near death and they have to rush them to a hospital, they're not going to talk about it. But you're going to go on YouTube and see hundreds and hundreds of videos about how dogs make you be so healthy. Right. But yet we're not healthy. USA has like the worst cases of diseases from stress. Yet we also have the most dog ownership. Yeah, it's a failed therapy. Dog ownership is a failed, unproven therapy that we keep forcing people to take. Huh. Why does that sound so familiar? And as we all know, dogs are constantly marketed as a way to enhance your life. You know, do this thing that everybody else is doing and your life will be better. It's like how cigarettes used to be. Many studies suggest dog ownership can lead to greater happiness. Yeah, many studies funded by who exactly? Yeah, go ahead and look that one up on your own. And again, medical cost of dog bites can be significant for kids, and these costs go up and up every year. So despite all of these dogs that we have helping us and showing us the right way to be, oh, more expensive dog bites on children every year. Keeps getting worse. Dog ownership itself is increasing. So with all these great benefits that dogs are supposed to give us, how come all these problems get worse? What do we got next? Oh, dogs themselves. There's been an increase in respiratory illness among dogs. Dogs are just getting sicker and sicker and sicker. If you look back like 10 or 20 years, or even go back 100 years, we didn't have all these ridiculous breeds and all of the associated illnesses and worms and hookworms and fleas and ticks and all types of bumps and cancer that comes with these dogs. So the dog life is getting worse too. Same thing with hoarding. These cases of hoarding get worse every year. 5,000 new cases are reported each year. You go look at these cases, and these dogs are living in absolute filth. Roaches, mice, dead dogs, half alive dogs, freaking maggots, piss and shit everywhere. But yet, you hardly hear about that. But you're going to hear about how amazing dog ownership it is. Yeah, why don't you tell that to these freaking dogs that are in these hoarding cases that are living there with a broken leg, uncontrollable bowel movements? Why don't you tell that to those dogs? We need to own more dogs and populate more dogs. If those dogs that are being hoarded could talk, they would be like, F you, mother effer. You're the one that did this to us. And dogs killing other dogs. That's another one. Notice it says right here, many pet owners may not discuss these situations. Yeah, they don't want to tell on their little dog or their big dog. People's pet dogs kill each other all the time. And if you go and look in some of the articles and discussions, people don't want to talk about it. Even though it does get reported, and even though the reported cases go up, it's like the cognitive bias that we were mentioning earlier. Your new pit bull that you just got from the shelter kills your grandma's corgi. Well, nobody wants to make the pit bull look bad because they already have a bad stigma. And that's another thing that gets worse every time we look at the data. Every time we start talking to people, the dog-on-dog violence gets worse. Yet, we just keep doing it. We keep applying this therapy of dogs. And 501c3 charities dedicating to helping dogs, those increase every year too. So we got more organizations that can take money tax-free, spend money without reporting it, take in billions of dollars of money that's supposed to go for education of dog owners too. It's supposed to go to improve the lives of dogs. But it's very strange because those two things never happen. Everything about dog culture gets worse. Yet we got more and more of these organizations that indirectly raise your taxes by worshiping dogs under a tax shelter. What else we got? Dog parks. So again, more and more dog parks. Dog parks didn't even used to be a thing. It used to be, if you don't have property and a decent amount of time and space for a dog, you just didn't get one. You didn't make that stupid decision. You weren't going to be in a class of dog ownership. And that's another reference to socialism here, because that's what socialism tried to do, get rid of all the classes. And that's what dog culture tries to do. It tries to make everybody classless. Classless as far as nobody is going to be a non-dog owner in that way, but also dog ownership is not classy. It's not classy at all. It's freaking gross. It's a turd worshipping, toddler mauling, flea motel life of stink and piss and hair everywhere. Yeah. What's up next? Oh yeah, dogs are marketed as solutions in advertising, and they pull on the emotions of people, emotional campaigns that resonates with customers. This is just another summary from a couple research sources. But this is how dogs are advertised, as a solution, as a therapy. Once you take this, once you go ahead and gulp this down, man, you're gonna everything's gonna be great. And then it's like, well, it didn't work. Oh, this pill that's gonna cure your depression didn't work. Well, take 3 more. Well, actually, you also need this one and that one. It's the same thing with dog ownership. It's like the stuff that dogs are supposed to bring to society, they don't. And more, the government does stuff to support dog ownership. The Americans with Disabilities Act, they force restaurants to allow dogs in there. But people take advantage of that. They take advantage of it all the time, because we're not allowed to ask people, like, what kind of training does your dog have? We're not allowed to ask them that when they bring a dog in. So you got Home Depot floors covered with dog poop. You got fights breaking out in outdoor restaurants, fights breaking out inside of indoor restaurants. But you better not say anything about these dogs. You better just keep allowing more and more of them into your restaurant. And the American with Disabilities Act is going to force that down your throat. As if owning a restaurant isn't like hard enough already. You're going to bring a bunch of dogs in there that could be left home, or left with a dog sitter, or left at the dog park with one of your friends and family. And while dogs get worse and worse and worse in our society, the government provides assistance programs for dog owners. California got special allowance for dog owners, and there's all types of free stuff all over the place for veterinary care and other needs. Food banks for dogs. We got restaurants. We actually have restaurants that are dedicated just to dogs. Wow. And those restaurants can get tax breaks, and they can get donations from those 501c3s too. So they're indirectly taxpayer funded as well. And last but not least, if you remember from our original slide, I mentioned sustainability. So sustainability is a huge part of the marketing for dog ownership. 42 best sustainable pet products, 11 eco-friendly pet toys. So dog owners running around with these products, they think they're saving the environment. Meanwhile, they take their dog to a park and let it shit everywhere, and let it piss everywhere, damaging the flora and fauna, washing their dog at their home, putting all that nasty stuff down the drain. All the products they buy for their dog, they go in the landfill. And then when the dog dies, one of the most common things that people do is get the dog cremated, which is a huge environmental impact. Like back to our thing about the UPS people, with all those trucks driving around filled with dog products, all the fuel and tires and oil and environmental impact of those vehicles, plus the environmental impact of manufacturing the dog food, plus all the dogs sitting in air-conditioned cars at any given moment. Yeah. So this whole eco-friendly stuff, eco-friendly and sustainable dog foods, yeah, you're just butchering more cattle to produce these dog foods. Yeah, so there you have it, guys. Dog culture, it's like socialism, it's like communism. It's like we looked at. Societies have faced failures after implementing solutions that did not address the problems. Dog ownership is marketed as a solution for so many things. It's marketed as, so many different things that are supposedly so great. But none of those problems that dog culture is addressing get better. And none of the problems that the dogs themselves have are getting better with all the human resources that we dump into these freaking freeloading, non-tax paying, crappy, fake, dumb replacements for humans. Get a proper human friend and watch your society get a lot better.